Today to designate March the 28th as an annual Serfs Emancipation Day to mark the date on which about 1 million serfs in the region were freed 50 years ago. We'll take a look at the life of serfs in old Tibet and how serfdom was abolished 5 decades ago.
Tibet, the roof of the world, is a magical land of beauty and spiritual wonders. But 50 years ago, this beautiful land was overshadowed by a serf system ruled by high-level monks and royal ranks. At that time, 95% of people in Tibet were serfs. They were divided into 3 classes: Tralpa, Toichuan, and Nangzan. Tralpa made up to 60 to 70% of serfs. They tilled plots of land assigned to them and had to provide unpaid labor for the serf owners. Tralpa could use the land, but they could not sell it. Toichuan ranked at a lower social class and led a harder life. They made up 30 to 40% of serfs. They had no land or personal freedom, and the survival of each of them depended on estate holders' manor. Nangzan were hereditary household slaves, deprived of any means of production and personal freedom. They were called livestock that can talk, and they were at the bottom of society. The manor owners treated them as their private property. Manor owners could trade and transfer them, present them as gifts, and use them for debts. Adding to the misery of serfs was the severe legal system. The local governments could set up courts and prisons, and many upper-ranking lamas and monasteries could also build private tribunals and jails. Prisoners could have their hands chopped off, wrists cut, eyes gouged out, feet tied, and tongues severed. In 1951, the central government signed a 17-article agreement on the methods of the peaceful liberation of Tibet with the regional government. But some hoped feudal serfdom would continue. An armed rebellion occurred. Toward the end of March 1959, the rebellion was put down by the central government. The Dalai Lama and some of his followers fled the country to India. It was then that the broad masses of serfs, along with many patriotic upper-class figures, conducted their democratic reform. Their joint efforts marked the end of feudal serfdom in Tibet. 1 million serfs finally became their own masters. This is Deching Joma, a villager from the Kasong Manor in Naidong County in the Shannon area of Tibet. 4 generations of her family were Nangzan at the Kasong Manor. She belongs to the 4th generation who were born in a cowshed. Today, Deching Joma's family owns 6 cows, several farm machines, and a single-story house with 7 rooms. The joys brought about by all these possessions are reflected in her bright smile.